Walter Elias Disney was one of the 20th century's most influential figures. He was a trailblazer and innovator in many entertainment, business, and education fields that extended far beyond animation, film, television, amusement parks, and a particularly iconic mouse. He was an enigmatic leader who was both feared and revered, and his leadership style evolved throughout his long and often turbulent tenure. Throughout his career, he guided his companies and employees through the aftermath of World War I, the Great Depression, and World War II. Today in this video, we'll tell you about his struggle in reaching his position. Walt was the first movie mogul to capitalize on the potential of television rather than fear it, and he revolutionized the amusement park in ways that continue to shape our culture on a global scale. Even NASA admitted that Disney's ardent support for its space program was critical in rallying public support for space exploration in 2008. Early life. Walt Disney started as a regular kid, growing up in a low-income family, but that didn't stop him from dreaming big. On December 5, 1901, Walt Disney was born. He grew up near Kansas City and Marceline, Missouri. He put on plays for school and skits for a nearby theater. Walt Disney is a worldwide icon for his Mickey Mouse, Disneyland, and Disney World creations, which capture a world of imagination. Walt Disney went to McKinley High School in the morning and the Chicago Institute of Art in the evening. He left home at 16 to join the Red Cross as an ambulance driver during World War I. Early career. Numerous factors contributed to Walt Disney's success. Disney was finally ready to launch his career as an artist and his own company. His father encouraged him to work from a young age, which aided his work ethic and success at Disney Studios. Disney built his business from the ground up with limited resources. He had a lofty goal that he was determined to achieve, no matter the obstacles. People who worked with him admired him and his businessman attitude. With his passion for animation, Disney intimidated his employees. Because he was so enthusiastic, he expected his employees to be equally so. Producing films during World War II. During the war, Disney employees created educational films for various federal agencies, including a 1942 animated short, The New Spirit, commissioned by the Treasury Department to encourage people to pay their income taxes to support the war effort. The film, starring Donald Duck, was shown in thousands of theaters and received an Academy Award nomination. The Disney Studio also created training films for the American military and designed over 1,000 insignia for military units for free, based on established Disney characters and new characters. Excellent managerial style. Walt maintained a paternal management style and ensured that employees had excellent working conditions. During the 1930s, when most of America was struggling, Walt paid his employees a relative fortune. The animators were ambitious and optimistic as they began work on Snow White, with many buoyed and immensely proud of the studio's revolutionary technical achievements. Employees demonstrated a commitment and a collaborative approach to their work, developing ideas and stories collaboratively and pooling their talents for the company's benefit. Creation of the famous character Mickey Mouse. The famous director has always been fascinated by trains. Walt's father and uncle had both worked on railroads, and as a teen in Kansas City, he sold newspapers and snacks on trains. Walt began developing the idea for Mickey Mouse on a train ride back to Los Angeles from New York in 1928, after learning he'd lost the rights to his cartoon character, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Contrary to popular belief, Walt did not have a pet mouse on which to base Mickey. Disneyland. Walt originally planned to build a small amusement park near his Burbank studio. However, his plans quickly grew more ambitious, and in 1953, he hired a research firm to find the best Southern California location for a large-scale theme park. After researching factors such as population growth, weather patterns, and transportation options, The firm recommended the site that would become Disneyland's home. A 160-acre parcel in Anaheim comprised mostly of orange trees. Construction began in July 1954, and Disneyland opened a year later, on July 17, 1955. Walt's legacy. Walt was always mindful of his legacy, delegating increasing amounts of responsibility and reorganizing his various businesses to ensure they would thrive after he was gone. Cast members in all Disney parks worldwide are still trained in the Disney philosophy and must adhere to stringent show quality standards. Their uniforms are timeless in style, many similar to those worn in 1955. Walt's prediction that the parks would never be finished has come true, as new lands and innovations are constantly redeveloped worldwide. His legacy is felt in many ways, and he is still regarded as one of the most influential figures of the 20th and 21st centuries. It is now impossible to imagine a world without Disney's overwhelming influence, which all began with a mouse. Disney stated shortly before his death, "I despise seeing depressing images. I know life isn't like that, and I don't want anyone to tell me otherwise." Millions of his fans agreed, and their adoration helped him become one of the most popular and influential figures in post-war American culture. Academy Awards. Disney holds the record for the most individual Oscar nominations and wins, 59 and 22 respectively. He received his first Academy Award in 1932 in the Best Short Subject Cartoon category for Flowers and Trees, which used the new 3-strip Technicolor process. Disney won in the same category at the following 7 Oscar ceremonies. He received 1 Best Picture nomination for Mary Poppins in 1964, but lost to My Fair Lady. Mary Poppins did win 5 other Oscars, including Best Leading Actress, which went to Julie Andrews. Disney also received 4 honorary Oscars, including one for creating Mickey Mouse in 1932 and another for Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs in 1939. Death and burial. In November 1966, doctors discovered that Disney, a longtime smoker, had lung cancer. He passed away the following month on December 15th at age 65 in a Burbank hospital. Not long after his death, stories began circulating in the tabloid press that the filmmaker had been cryogenically preserved. That is, frozen in the hope that science would one day allow him to be brought back to life. Despite persistent rumors about Disney and cryonics, he was cremated, and his ashes were interred in a mausoleum at Forest Lawn Cemetery in Glendale, California. At the time of his death from lung cancer in 1966, he was well into planning Walt Disney World in Florida and spent his final night alive feverishly discussing his ideas with his brother, Roy Gabler. He had also started planning for CAI Arts, which is now a thriving arts university and was to be Walt's most important legacy. Walt's innovations in the day-to-day operation of his theme parks have set the standard for customer service worldwide to this day. That's all for today's video. We hope that you'll find it quite fascinating. If you enjoyed watching our content, hit that like button on the left and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new updates from us. We'll see you again soon.